So our next presentation will be from Jens Krol and Juanita Halblaub. Um, Jens and Juanita will present products that the ISC3 is developing and are looking forward to getting as much feedback from you guys as possible. The ISC3 stands for International Sustainable Chemistry Collective Center, Chemistry Collaborative Center, sorry, and is a center based in Bonn, Germany, funded by the German government that promotes sustainable chemistry across sectors and actors. An important area of intervention of the center is academic and non-academic education. So just to introduce the two speakers, Jens is from the Netherlands, has a master's in biotechnology, and has worked as a chemistry teacher in the Netherlands and in Afghanistan through a special program of the German government. He currently manages the educational activities of the ISC3. He loves chemistry education, is therefore very happy to be a part of this Green Chemistry Connection. Next, Juanita holds an MBA in international business and works at the ISC3 on the topic of sustainable chemistry innovation. She currently works on a publication that discusses examples of sustainable chemistry and is excited to share some of those examples with you today. So you got Juanita, I think you're the one sharing. So go for it.
Thank you very much, Jasmine, for the nice introduction. I am going to share my screen with you. I think. Is it working?
Yeah, that's great.
It's in presentation mode, yeah? Ah, yes,
not
perfect.
In presentation mode. Oh, there we go.
There, perfect. Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. As Jasmine mentioned, my name is Juanita, and I work at the ISC3, the International Sustainable Chemistry Collaborative Center. So there are a lot of C's there, so just ISC3 for you guys. Today we're here because we want to present and talk about a paper that I'm working that is called Easing the Access to the Concept of Sustainable Chemistry Through Practical Examples. But before that, I just want you to introduce you to the ISC3, what we do, what we are, because I'm guessing not all of you know us. So we are an international center and we're fostering the transition of the chemical and chemical-related sectors towards sustainable chemistry by promoting a circular economy and striving to implement different aspects of sustainability at every step of the life cycle. It can be products and also changing the stakeholder behavior. And I mean, to change the chemical and chemical-related sectors is a very big task. So we, the ISC3, have 4 fields of actions to do so and 3 different partner organizations. Jens and me, we're working at the GIZ, which is the German Development Agency. We are an international agency. We are in over 120 countries, and we're focusing in policy and stakeholder dialogue, also research and knowledge, and of course, education. And we also dabble in innovation. DEGEMA, our other partner, it's the German Society of Biotechnology and Chemistry, and there, together with their experts, we help entrepreneurs and startups grow their business ideas in the topic of sustainable chemistry. And then our third partner is the Lausanne University, which is a university in Northern Germany in Lüneburg. And they have a master in sustainable chemistry and MBA in sustainable chemistry. So as you can see, we have these different fields of actions, and we're trying just to advocate sustainable chemistry in all of these different directions and cooperate with different organizations and stakeholders to achieve this change. And you know, we have a lot of projects and we do a lot of things, and I would love to sit here and tell you everything that we do and what Jens do, but I am going just to talk about sustainable chemistry for a bit and about the paper, because this is the main thing for today, and I would love later on in the breakout room to sit with you guys together and discuss one example. And I want you to tell me, is it sustainable or not? So let's keep going. As many might know, the discussion about green and sustainable chemistry is not exactly a new discussion. This is something that it has been going on over the past decades. And many organizations have published about green and sustainable chemistry, what it means to them. And of course, this is something that has been developed over time, because what we deem sustainable in the past, we we don't deem it sustainable right now, and things that we might have deemed sustainable right now might not be sustainable in the future. So this has been a whole process of a development of the definition. And as you heard from Colin, he is working in the manuals, and they also have different things on how to follow to implement sustainable and green chemistry. And we also publish a paper with our 10 key characteristics of sustainable chemistry. And I just wanted to show them to you. As you can see here in number 9, green chemistry, it's part of sustainable chemistry. Green chemistry is the basis of sustainable chemistry. But we add other key components, as for example, number 4, the ethical and social responsibility. We think that the products that are being produced have to have a social and ethical responsibility to communities. Human rights have to be respected while producing these products. Vulnerable groups have to be taken into account. Fair salaries have to be paid. Sustainable chemistry, we also, for example, number 5, we foster collaboration and transparency, meaning that we want everyone to exchange knowledge, collaborate together, and come together and discuss about, is this sustainable or not? Is this product, chemical, sustainable or not? So, as you can see in the 10 key characteristics, there are other things that you know and might be very similar to green chemistry, like the life cycle, is the number 10, 8 is circularity. And we have a whole paper in this. So if you are interested in learning more about our key characteristics, we can sit down together and you can take a read, and then we can have a call and sit down together and go through them. But these key characteristics is something that we publish, and still it's not a definition of sustainable chemistry. So we are trying as the ISC3 to move forward and see like, how can we create a shared understanding? Meaning, how can we have people coming together and all knowing sustainable chemistry as something that is giving? That when we are talking about chemistry, that is something sustainable. As you know, there is like the sustainability aspects. And here we have the 3 sustainability considerations. The first one, of course, the ecology, then we have the economy, and then the socially. And when we talk about sustainability, we have to talk of this model, and we need to meet all of the 3 without compromising one of them. Otherwise, it's not being sustainable. And even though we have this knowledge, it's in the name of sustainable chemistry. Nevertheless, still we haven't approached, or we haven't created this common understanding. Then there is also the SDGs, which are also part of sustainable chemistry. And here you can see a wedding cake presentation as proposed by the Stockholm Resilience Center. And here we depict, in the bottom one, you can see the biosphere, then we have the SDGs that we see as a society, and then the top ones are the ones that we see at the economy, meaning that all of these are together, and we cannot have these 3 dimensions or these 3 tiers be looked at it alone. It emphasizes the idea that a healthy biosphere is a foundation for social well-being and ultimately for prosperity or economy. Yes, and we think and we believe that if we achieve sustainable chemistry, we can achieve most of all of the goals. But if we know all of this, and we have many publications about this, but still there is no common understanding, and still no one is applying this. And sometimes even some of our stakeholders, for example, our startup entrepreneurs, they are not sure if their ideas are fitting into sustainable chemistry. Then something is wrong, right? We have to create and we have to advocate for everyone to understand that sustainability is something that we all need in all sectors, especially in chemistry. We're trying to do this now by this new publication that we together are creating, called Easing the Access to the Concept of Sustainable Chemistry Through Practical Examples, because we're hoping that through exchange with different stakeholders and having examples where people can look at them and see oh, this might fit in my sector, or I might be, when I use this idea to create something similar, we can help have a shared understanding of what is deemed sustainable in the chemistry and chemistry related sectors. For that, we had many ISC3 stakeholders send us their case studies. We had about 75 different ones. And from the 75, we chose 10 different. They are from different sectors, primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. We also have different countries in there, a wide range of different industries, as well as different stakeholders. Like some examples are from academia, some examples are from entrepreneurs. And from these examples, we had a number of experts looking through them and evaluating the examples and discussing. And from this, we're creating the paper right now. So, for example, one of the examples that we had is biocide leasing and detergents. And Jens is actually an expert about that. Maybe Jens, you would like to say something about it?
Yeah, thanks, Juanita. Yeah, I'm just going to say a little bit about one of the examples, which is biocide leasing. Many of you might be familiar with the business model chemical leasing. Chemical leasing is an innovative business model where, you know, in the conventional model, the more chemicals you sell, the more you earn. But in chemical leasing, we want to change the tonnage, so the amount of chemicals, by the knowledge and by the performance that the chemicals actually give. So we wanted to switch that the more chemicals you sell, the more you earn. Rather change it for the less you sell, but the better they perform, the more you earn. So in the end, this the business model of chemical leasing should result in a lower production of chemicals. And by this, rather than sharing chemicals, chemical companies should share the knowledge and and apply the chemicals in the best way. And I will give you an example now with biocides, because we think that biocides are a possible application for chemical leasing, for example, in hospitals. Now, if right now a hospital wants to disinfect the hospital, they might spray as much chemical as possible just to make sure that all the germs are killed. But in a chemical leasing model, a company would, for example, sell, okay, I can disinfect 200 hospital beds for you, and they would do it in the most efficient way, in a way that both the effect, like the service, the performance is delivered, but at the same time, as little chemicals as possible are used. So if you apply chemical leasing to biocides, you have a biocides leasing model. And this is it's a bit complicated. There are many aspects to this, like what makes it sustainable, what maybe doesn't make it sustainable. So we had a workshop about that, and we discussed, Juanita included here a few of the notes that people left us on this topic. And ultimately, we want to gather as much feedback on this topic as possible. And Juanita is now gathering all those things, all those comments by the experts, and trying to bundle them in a publication.
Yes, thank you very much, Jens. And important to say as well is that the 10 examples that we have chosen, they are not perfect examples, but this is something that it's what I love to discuss. What can we do to make this more sustainable? So in our breakout sessions, I want you to be the experts, and I want to go with you through one of the examples and discuss and just exchange opinions of why the example is sustainable or not. And I'm super excited to hear from you and to learn from you. We are going to be talking about example number 5, Earthquake Philippines, but I will explain everything to you in the breakout rooms. I will share with you also a Miro board where we can work together. And yeah, I'm very excited of your feedback. Thank you very much. And I think now Jens would like to talk to you about his learning module.
Thanks, Juanita. Yeah, I'm going to talk about something that is different, but also connected to this. But I think important to know, like maybe you have a lot of questions already for Juanita, and but we're also a little bit short in the time, so I'm just going to do my presentation. But you can send Juanita all your questions directly now, or you can join her in the breakout room later, and then you can talk more about it with her. And if something comes up later, you can also send her an email. Maybe we can put our email addresses in the chat later on at the end of the session. I'm going to talk about two e-learning products that we are developing. One about plastics and sustainable building. It's already there. That one is already finished, and I'm going to give a short reflection on what we learned there. And then the main part is going to be about a new training about sustainable chemistry. And there I'm really looking forward to get as much feedback from you guys as possible, like especially about use cases, because we already started developing lots of the materials based on all the things that Juanita has been working on, and a lot of things that we already have in the ISC3, but we kind of forgot about some of the leading questions that Colin spoke about when he talked about the education manual, which is basically about what is the target audience, who is going to use those materials, and what kind of skills do we want people to develop, or what kind of results do we want to get out of this training material. So since we're with a lot of education experts, I'm looking forward to get your opinion. Maybe you think like, oh, that's super interesting. I want to work on this and I want to use it in this and this situation. Like I'm happy to work with anyone, because right now I'm working on this, but I'm still looking a little bit for a target audience. But let's get started. So first I'm going to talk about an old training that we did, like the previous, one of our focus topics was plastics and sustainable building. And we did a lot of stakeholder workshops about this topic and bundled all this knowledge in a very big report, which consisted in the end about 4 subtopics. An introduction, then a part about urbanization, affordable housing and resilience, human health aspects of plastics and environment aspects of plastics, and resource demand and recycling. So this topic of plastics and construction is actually a very important topic, because out of all the plastics that we produce, most of them go into packaging, but the construction sector is the second sector with more or less 20% of all the plastics produced. And we all know examples like PVC that are used very abundantly, but plastics are also used in different ways. And they have implications for example, our human health, because we mix in plasticizers, fire, I don't know, like the word is just gone, but like, or for example, we mix in all kinds of stuff in those plastics, and that leads to to many problems with regards to recyclability and our human health. But also there are some positive aspects that you can think of. The world population is growing very quickly, and in many, especially African countries, affordable housing is really a big problem. I don't know, also in European countries, affordable housing is just a problem worldwide, and it can help us solve that. So we have a huge publication about this. You can find everything on our website, but we also changed this into an e-learning. And for that, we use the Atingi platform. Atingi is an e-learning platform based on Moodle. Atingi is an e-learning platform that is owned by the German government, and it's being used by especially by development cooperation related projects, and we published all our materials right there. And Chloe put the link already in the chat, so you can register for this now and go through everything. You don't have to complete everything, because I will later in my reflections tell you that it's a very long process. It will take you about 10 hours to go through everything, but you can just register and look at the things that we developed. It looks like this. There are many tiles. You can click on them, and then you will see short videos. You will read some texts, and there are some assessment exercises. For example, this question, after reading about which region produces the most plastics, you get a question that asks you what region it is. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. I know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you. Maybe you can put your answer in the chat, and we can, at the end of the session, I can tell you what the actual answer was. And we also ask our students to write an essay, which is afterwards being graded. For example, sometimes we enter into cooperations with an educational institution. For example, in just December, we worked together with Lautech University, which is a university from Nigeria, where students went through this whole e-learning. They had to write essays, and lecturers from Lautech graded the entries of their students. And at the end, people receive a certificate, which is for some people an incentive to do this e-learning. So what did I learn from that? Well, first of all, there's a big demand to learn more about construction chemicals. We get many questions about that. Construction chemicals are an important topic. I don't remember if Colin mentioned it, but I know that UNEP is currently also has worked a lot on this topic, published many publications about the effect of construction chemicals. My learning about e-learning is that it's a bit tedious. It was very long, and it's very much content focused, and it's especially because we developed a report, and from that we developed e-learning materials, but we didn't really look at the target audience, and that's something that I want to change in our new I'm going through all of them quickly. In our new course, I really want to make it better by looking at skills or the outcomes and the target group that we want to work with. So what we already developed is basically two parts. Part one is about the concept of sustainable chemistry. It's more or less what Juanita just explained to you. And part two is about assessing case studies. That's the other part that Juanita explained to you. So first of all, we talk about what is sustainable chemistry. We look at, for example, green chemistry and other frameworks. And then the second part, people assess case studies. For example, the biocides leasing that I just mentioned. Another example is the example of, I forgot the name, the bricks from Juanita, maybe you can help me. You're going to talk about bricks in
Earth bricks.
Earth bricks in which country was it?
Philippines.
In the Philippines, right? So that's another example that people will assess, and I'm going to explain, if there is time, another example to you soon. So I want you all to think about as possible use case for those materials. What could be a target audience? What could be resulting impacts from this course? Learning outcomes for our students. And if you're interested in working with us, just leave your email address here. So we can go through this in the breakout room session later, but maybe you don't want to talk with me about this because you want to talk to Juanita, or you want to talk with the GCC team or with Beyond Benign. So if you can't join, you can answer any of those questions right now in a direct message to me here in Zoom. Also, if you can also just leave your email address and I can reach out to you. We can have a quick call together and see how we can work on this. I want to go quickly through this course so that you have an idea what it's about. It's right now it's already too long. Like, to go through everything, it costs you a few hours, and I want to break it up into smaller bits and pieces so that people can use it where they think it's a smart point to use it. For example, if you're a professor, you might want to use one of the examples, but maybe not go through everything about green chemistry because your students already know what it is. But if you are a high school teacher and you only want to talk about green chemistry, you might just select that part. Juanita already explained to you. So I work for the ISC3. We talk about sustainable chemistry. The core of sustainable chemistry is green chemistry, but it's also more, for example, some social aspects, which is are all things that you learn about in this course. For example, how are women disadvantaged in the chemical sectors, which is a social aspect, an example of a social aspect that is also explained in this course. But we developed a lot of things about green chemistry as well, so much that we can even start a separate course only about green chemistry, just using all those materials. So I have to order those things a little bit and see, what we can do. For example, we have questions about all the 12 principles, and to develop all this, which I did together with a colleague of mine. We used lots of the materials that we found on the Beyond Benign websites, and yeah, the resources that Beyond Benign has are just amazing, and they really helped us in developing most of those things. However, Juanita just presented our own key characteristics, which are also introduced in this course. Then the second part is about the assessment of the case studies. And here I'm going to try to actually go into the e-learning system now so that I can show it to you. How do I do this in the best possible way? Okay. It is, yeah. Am I still sharing? No, right? I'm still sharing? Okay, perfect. So this is the Atingi system. And here are the tiles. And I'm not going to show you everything. I'm just going to show you the assessments because I think it's the most interesting parts. I just explained you something about chemical leasing, which is here explained in a bit more detail. Just a small text. We want to do this for all of the examples, but we're still working on this. And then you go into the assessments parts. And you get 10 questions based on the key characteristics. For example, we have our precautionary principle, where you want to avoid transfer of problems and costs into other domains, spheres, and regions at the outset, preventing future legacies and taking care of the legacies of the past, including linked responsibilities. Is this principle fulfilled in the case of chemical leasing? So I already answered the question. I said no, just to test the system, and I said it's incorrect. Well, let's guess something else. Oh, I cannot try again. That's a pity. Let's just move to the next example, and then we can see how it works. For example, systems thinking. Is systems thinking fulfilled in the case of chemical leasing? I think so. Let's say yes, and let's check. And it says it's correct. Now, then we asked the learners, how or why is it fulfilled? I'm under a lot of pressure now, so I don't really know how to answer this question. So I'm going to say test answer. And we will check. And the system should give some feedback, and learners can compare their own answer with the feedback that is being given. Now, I think it's a little bit boring to go through all this. So I'm really thinking of a way to make this more exciting. So if you have ideas, please share them with me. But otherwise, I think we might bring it down to, for example, not going through all the key characteristics, or doing it in a bit of a different way. Anyway, so this is the direction that we're thinking. It's still really much in development. So for this specific course, you cannot register right now because it's not published yet. It's not open. But if you really want to see it, I can add you to it, and I'm always happy to discuss about it. Let's just quickly finish my presentation here. I have to present. Yes, this is where I was, but now I showed it in real life, so I don't have to talk about this. And then, yeah, actually, I'm already done with my presentation. So this was everything. So I just presented the new e-learning that we are developing, and I'm really looking forward to get some feedback on that. So if you want to help me out here, join me in this next breakout room, or send me a message or an email. And yeah, thanks to Beyond Benign for giving me some time to present it.
Thank you. One short thing that I want to mention is that the paper that I'm writing and Jens' course are together. So my part is the background, and then with the result of the paper, the course is going to be made. And also, if you want to teach your students about sustainable chemistry and you think that this course might be cool for you, you can be one of the beta testers with your class. I mean, that would be great. Thank you.
Connect with people. We'll now go on to some updates from the higher ed team. So I'll hand it off to Juliana for.
Thank you so much, Gagan. So our team has some updates for you. And the first one is our green chemistry commitment info session. So if you guys here in the call, you're not participants of the green chemistry commitment program, if you want to know about what the Green Chemistry Commitment Program is. So it's next Tuesday, we'll be there talking about the event, the program, and all the benefits. And also we'll have Nasrin from Texas Women's University giving a talk about her and her commitment to green chemistry in her institutions. So I believe Chloe will drop the link on the chat for the people who would want to register. Thanks, Chloe. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all on January 23rd. The next news that I have is that we're going to be organizing a workshop with the University of Toronto. And this workshop is about green chemistry and ways you can apply green chemistry in your research and in your environment. So this is going to happen on March 6th at 10:30 a.m. This workshop is open to undergrad students, graduate students, and postdocs. If you're around the University of Toronto, you can be there in person. If you're not around the University of Toronto, if you're on the other side of the world, you can join us virtually and participate in this workshop. So we're thrilled to host that with the University of Toronto, and we hope to see you there. The next news that I have is that you can find the Beyond Benign team next to you in all of these conferences that are happening this year. So we'll be at the ACS Spring meeting in March. We're also going to be at the CSC, which is the Canadian Conference in Winnipeg, also at the Biennial Conference in Chemical Education, and the Green Chemistry and Engineering Conference in Atlanta in June. We have a next slide. Yes. And for the participants of our Green Chemistry Commitment, we started planning our Green Chemistry Commitment Summit. So we're very excited to host all of you and see all the amazing things you're doing to implement green chemistry and see how we can support you. So be ready. We're going to come up with some news, with some dates and everything soon to all of you. But just keep in mind that our Green Chemistry Commitment Summit is going to happen this year, and it's coming very soon. So our next event, our next Green Chemistry Connections is happening on February 21st. And same time, we'll be here, and you're going to learn more about green chemistry in 2 lab modules and beyond. So join us for another Green Chemistry Connections. If you're registered for this one, you're also going to receive the invites for the next one. But if you know someone that's not registered, please feel free to send these people the information. And I think this is it. We would like to thank all of our sponsors for the organization, all of the people involved at Beyond Benign. I'd like to thank all of our speakers, Colin, Jens, Juanita. You're awesome. I love the presentations. I had a wonderful time knowing all of the things. So thank you very much for that. I hope you had a wonderful time too. And all of the participants, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here and being the amazing people you are. So thank you so much. And if you need anything, you know where we are. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.